Navi's turn to ban. LGD's turn to pick.
Enchantress.
Navi's turn to pick. Navi's turn to pick.
Witch Doctor!
LGD's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Death Prophet.
LGD's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. LGD's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Navi's turn to ban. Navi's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Bounty Hunter.
LGD's turn to pick.
Bat Rider!
Navi's turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Queen of Pain.
LGD's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Imba Spirit.
Navi's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. LGD's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Navi's turn to pick.
Lycan.
LGD's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Disruptor.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds to battle. The battle begins.
Worthy tribute.
First blood!
Double damage!
No.
Not while I'm around. beast into the wild.
I forecast your demise.
Fly, my pretty, fly.
Stick a bone in it. You're done.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Regeneration! Wake up, girl. Wake up.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
And while that's going on, Shawei, making his journey back to bottom, has the lasso ready. You see aggressive, posting up top lane. They did take the tower down in the end. Last hit going to the Dire. But yeah, the Navi supports very high level so far.
Yeah, and having a Death Ward already online, there's a couple of decent spells to cancel out. No Flame Break levels yet from Zhao 8, but just means that this Witch Doctor actually has some solo, or 2 hero kill potential. Like right now, Batrider seeing this bottom lane, a good cast can lead into a kill with Death Ward with a +1.
Aggressive is going to isolate the Yara, who doesn't quite have mana for the shapeshift, does have stick charges. Opts to pop the Howl instead. It looks like he wants to fight this one, and now he finds himself still holding onto the stick, trying to bait. Shapeshift coming out, but is he going to go down in time? No, the Kaz! Hard style turns it and swats him down, and then Yara comes back in, munches on Bambi. It will be venison for dinner. Shawei goes to the TP out. That too is denied. Shuriken says no. 4 LGD heroes wiped off the map.
Well, there's a reason you go jungle when you're a hero like Lycan and you can get value out of his support ultimate. Artsal coming in with a great cast Death Ward.
What a bait there from Ditya.
Yeah, he helped, like you were saying, I'm watching like, okay, he's not ulting, he couldn't use it to escape, but he didn't want to escape, he wanted to lure LGD in, thinking they had that kill, and great coordination and just teamwork coming out from Na'Vi. This is feeling like a true team with a strategy, complete objectives in mind at all times, and they're playing so well together.
It's not too often you see a veteran team like LGD with Xiaoyi at the helm get lured into such a trap, but that is normally where we see that invasion play a lot of the time from, I mean, Navi's done it quite a bit, but especially from LGD and LGD-Gaming Reborn, and normally it nets you kills, you get a tower, you take over the enemy wards. Instead, the complete opposite. This game's not a script that Xiaoyi had to top. Could be in trouble here. Has the Firefly going, the Napalm slowly coming in, but Xiaoyi will be next. Seneko may go down to the tower shots. No, he fades and he jukes out. TP'd away, and he's out of there. But it does at least open up mid, where maybe he's popped the Exorcism, trying to siege, but Unstyle's waiting in the trees with the Death Ward. So Exorcism won't amount to much. Another win for Na'Vi.
They're just being incredibly efficient as well. Like, they see LGD popping Exorcism mid, they go on the aggressive, or as they're going on the aggressive top, and like Seneko, he TP's out, then even stays around to hit the tower on like 50 HP, just knowing that there's no one up there to threaten him, and he TP's home. He heals up, he smoked with Seneko and Na'Vi. There's no downtime with their aggression. They're going again with Exorcism on cooldown. Taking any teamfight right now would be very difficult for LGD.
LGD do find a tower, so aggressive, closing in on the likely Boots of Travel pickup. 1,200 gold now. But Na'Vi are on the smoke. They move up through the river, rotating into the LGD jungle. Probably looking for a deep ward, I imagine. Doesn't look like they have any, actually. So, just purely here for the gank, but Na'Vi applying pressure mid, perhaps trying to draw the rotation from the top lane. There's the Clips. Attempted the static kill, follow the dig around, and cage the wolf, and they will lock him down. But as that was happening, Shelly also falls to Dendi with the double damage rune. So it's a 1-for-1, a Batrider for a Lycan. But Na'Vi with the DD are looking to make it a little bit more. They want this to be a sweeter take, and it will be the tower mid.
Yeah, Dendi kind of veered off from the mid lane to go secure that kill. It was a track kill, so ultimately the 1-for-1 trade, when you get track for yours, probably a little bit better.
Oh, you think it's 1-for-1? Dendi says it might be 1-for-3, and it, oh, MMY there, barely surviving. Popping the stick and hanging on for dear life, and aggressive. Now he wants to turn it back the other way. Well, perhaps it's not such a good trade anymore. The vacuum blaster from Xiaoyi, follow it up after the Dendi killed aggressive. Suddenly a double, suddenly Boots of Travel, and some gold in the piggy bank as well. Looked like Dendi was going to get 3 and get out for free, but LGD, they salvaged it.
It's that moment of Na'Vi over-aggression. We see this every now and then in their games. They normally follow it up with some great discipline. So it's like that wake-up call, like, okay, everything was going well according to plan. You make that one player or kind of two-hero duo will like go for a bit of an overextension. They get punished for it. Now Na'Vi just have to regroup, slow things down a bit, make sure they kind of get those core items or two, farm towards the mech on the bounty hunter, make sure they always have the numbers they need. So go for a 4 or 5 man smoke gank. Don't let LGD back into this game with kind of overextensions as we just saw.
So with that, also closing in on the Xiaoyi Blink Dagger. How big is a Blink this game?
It's pretty damn big when the only counter to the Batrider is really a fast roar from General. They haven't got that good defensive support.
They've isolated Ditya again, caging the wolf, draining him of his spirits and killing him off. Maybe had a pretty awful time mid, 1-4, but he's been involved in quite a few kills here. Stemming the bleeding, staying in striking distance of Na'Vi at least, but Na'Vi are going to make moves elsewhere. Towards the top lane, they rotate. The Beastmaster forces out a glyph, now attempts to retreat. MMY deployed an early static storm here, just gets a range for the glimpse now, and brings General all the way back where Aggressive is waiting, but Dendi says, well, no ultimate. While relying on right clicks, they will lose General. And September, thinking about an impetus chuck, but Seneko fades away.
Next level Observer Ward from, he didn't actually have the vision until he plants that Observer Ward. So, cute little play coming out from MMY.
It is nighttime, but you drop that combo, you'd better walk away with the kill. You can see just a little ward outside the tier 1 tower. And there's the blink.
Used a decent number of their smokes recently. They still got 1 in stock in the shop. Interesting to see if they go right into that now that they've got the blink on Batrider.
Speaking of potential smokes, Na'Vi not actually smoking, but looked like they wanted to make a move on mid, so they are hunting for kills. Key timings, gods, as we have a lull in the action here. What are you looking at?
For Na'Vi, Aegis timings, there's Roche up now, but it's finding the opening to take a Roche, because that Aegis is going to allow you to transition to taking tower after tower. So far it's been just one tier 1 tower for Na'Vi, and that's, if not, that's where that over-aggression mid lane where Dendi goes for the double kill and it backfires really kind of punishes Na'Vi, because they could have just not gone for the kills and used that time with Dendi alive to push towers. So for Na'Vi, it's the go time is now. Take tier 1 towers and then open up the map to take Roche. For LGD, it's try and prevent that from happening using Exorcism.
Well, they have Exorcism, but they want to take a fight right here, right now. Director in front, looks for the lasso, he grabs Seneko and aggressive moves forward. He's got to be careful though, he's in quite deep, gets roared, will be punished, ends up going down, and that's a track kill as well. Shallow's going to be next. Baby gets off the Exorcism, looks to engage into Na'Vi, Spirit Slave, and also going to take runs in deep. Radio comes through, 3, maybe 4, so slow, but they do finish him off, and now the cast begins to bounce. MMY, the team has collapsed, and he limps away, the lone survivor of a bloody takedown in the bottom lane.
Artstyle's positioning that fight, he had an Aether Lens. He was in the river using the Death Ward in the lane from so far away. LGD must have been like scratching their heads like, where is this Witch Doctor Death Ward coming from? Because he wrecked them with the cask into Death Ward that fight. Great play and positioning, and LGD just weren't ready for that when they engaged. Finding the bounty hunter was just not really the ideal time.
Oh, he wants to punish the Solanum SWAT. Already level 10, by the way, on the Witch Doctor. What an insane showing from Artstyle, but that means a lot of experience back the other direction as they hunt to Yara, has the TP. Chain's going down 1 second, is he gonna get it off? Oh, he does, just barely with the glimpse there as well. A double kill right back for LGD. Still overall Na'Vi taking the tower and getting the greater number of total kills, but I just keep on looking at the graph, gods. As soon as Na'Vi take a fight, grab a lead, LGD seem to strike right back.
They're a resilient team, and if you want to kind of know what kind of game we're looking at, aggressive item tells it all. He goes a boots of travel into drums. Very rarely do you see this. Sometimes you see the drums first and then the boots of travel, but normally the general progression is you go for your battle fear. You start building towards the late game, but aggressive, recognizing that LGD are looking to fight, play, and take on Na'Vi with some of their own aggression, is trying to just itemize around that.
The extra HP could be absolutely critical right now, as there is a fresh Orchid picked up on Dendi. So with that, the ability to burst an Ember Spirit through the silence is there, and every little bit of HP makes a difference. And along with that, some medical assistance coming from September. He closes in now in a mech. As Na'Vi engaged towards the top lane, they have smoked for this. No smokes to be bought for 2.5 minutes, but 1 on general. So their smoke economy still fairly healthy. And tower top will fall, grabbed by general. It is a double necro build up here.
Yeah, and this is where I'd love to see Enchantress.
They found Seneko, MMY just popping sentry wards while they're hot. And they will bring Seneko down. Not the cheapest kill, but they deny the bounty hunter anyway. Space created, I suppose.
Something like that. But as far as Enchantress goes, you almost want to level up Enchant in a game like this because of those Necrobooks floating around. Even so, it's still a 12-second cooldown when maxed out, but it's much better than the 30-second level 1 cooldown. And his role is going to be that kind of utility support Enchantress, going for an Arcane Boot into mech. Actually having completed the mech 17 minutes in, LGD going for these kind of less common items. The drums maybe not completely unheard of, but the mech Enchantress something a bit new, and they want to itemize purely around these 5v5 fights that we can see.
He gets the roar, the silence on challenge, but Static Storm is there, looking for the turnaround. Aggressive, charges in, gets off the two chains, but the Death Ward zones the back. LGD, afraid of the Aether Lens, Witch Doctor will retreat. Trying to limit casualties here now. With no Bat Rider, it's tough to fight, but they lost a second. It could be a third. They look for September, pops the mech. Maledict is affecting him. Thought about a Sonic Wave. Dendi gonna hang on to it. Go look for the tower instead.
Na'Vi not done. They want this tier 2 tower, and once you start losing towers as well as the hero kills, that's where the track gold, the building gold, the hero kill gold in general just going to start adding up, and LGD losing more and more map control, so this game just will continue to get harder for them. Radiant Vision just covers the map. They've also just, in general, have the Bounty Hunter able to just give them that scouting information constantly. Even a Sneaker, a Death or 2 hero there is not a big deal for Na'Vi, and that's all LGD seems to be getting as of late.
I do want to point out LGD have done a great job of dewarding their woods, but it comes at a cost just having to spend extra money on sentries, not only for wards, but also for the bounty hunter. But with the 4 sentries they planted, I think they got at least 1 deward, maybe 1 expired, or may have even gotten 2
There's
there.
still great Radiant Vision is the thing though, so it hasn't totally, it's protected their woods and their jungle, which right now, they need to finish a couple of items like Zhao 8's 4 stuff. Death Prophet needs a Yule Scepter, so it's going to help them at least secure some farm, but Na'Vi have more or less complete map control with the vision.
That blasted Yellow Goblin. They tried for the glimpse back, but he is just barely able to sneak out. Some good news here for LGD. Aggressive, well on his way to the Battle Fury, despite stopping after the jumps. 2,200 as far as the net worth goes, and that's with the tier 1 still at mid. Na'Vi now holding a 2-tower advantage, and he's still right there with their cores, so...
I wonder if there's any chance he gets a Blink Dagger.
Overall, definitely I guess the most farmed hero here.
Yeah.
Once they get those towers, he'll be on top.
LGD probably looking to slow things down a little, not so much slow things down, but at least change the way these fights are happening. They want to just prioritize the Batrider pick-off initiations much more than just running at Na'Vi and hoping for the best.
What are the key areas right now? Looking at LGD that you really feel they need more vision, or are you pretty happy with the warding they have at this point?
It's decent. It's a question of whether they can contest Roshan. If that's going to become a key priority for them, then yeah, all around the Roshan pit. They want to have sentries, observer ward detection, and with their ultis on, when they've got Exorcism, I think contesting Roshan is very much in the ballpark of what's possible. So they're going to try and they keep sending Enchantress creeps in there for now, but they need to deny Na'Vi. I think it's more about denying Na'Vi vision above and around the Roshan pit, but now Na'Vi's observer ward in the mid lane is giving them full know-how of exactly what LGD are doing, which lets them just get into the Roshan pit uncontested.
Yeah, Big Bird was here. Na'Vi slayed him, and now they're going to slay the Big Rock as well. That's an Aegis for Ditya Ra, and it looks to be a push down the bottom lane. Tier 2 still stands there, but probably not for long, and with that, Ditya Ra has the Necro 3 as well. Beastmaster Necro 3, not too far off, has the money for it actually, but seems like he may be saving for a Blink Dagger instead, as he has not opted to buy the 3rd recipe, in which case they will have a much better source of initiation, Blink into Roar.
Yeah, something that Na'Vi don't have a bad initiation by any means, but once the bounty hunter scouting and just getting some tracks for the extra movement speed has been kind of the main way they approach fights so far. So,
and really, looking forward a bit as Na'Vi are going to back off here. The story of this tournament for Na'Vi has been very patient taking objectives. Rarely have they fully overextended or overcommitted. They take the tier 2, they think about more, but now they end up backing off, and they just leave Seneko here to harass. They're not going to try to force the high ground just yet, which means aggressive Battle Fury coming soon.
He's been dusted up and...
General's here though, Roar, Necro both deployed, maybe. Dropping low, Shuriken comes in, a warning shot, but Zhao 8. Oh, Blink Dagger about to cool down. Can he get a range of Seneko? Doesn't seem so. Didn't have any fault detection, so a clean escape from Na'Vi. Very good job there applying pressure, but not getting caught.
Yep. And with mech online, Na'Vi even up the mech exchange.
It's forward though, they found Dendi top. Big kill for LGD. That's quite a streak they've ended as 730 gold piles in for aggressive, and with that, Battle Fury basically done. Just needs a couple more creep waves.
Yeah, he'll have it next creep wave, and Na'Vi will, of course, their work cut out for them when it comes to the high ground defense. We talk about Na'Vi being much more slower and methodical with their approach. That's something which could play into LGD's hands. If anything, it's you've got to be a bit unpredictable if you want to try and break through their high ground defense. They've got the Ember Spirit with a Battle Fury. They're going to have Death Prophet able to just spam out waves, and that Rider, another amazing high ground defender, just when he's able to get that pick off, pull a hero into the tier 4 towers. Unless you've got something to negate the lasso, pushing high ground gets very, very difficult, and right now Na'Vi just don't have that great hero to do it with. They've got a Beastmaster Hawk to ideally scout the Batrider initiation, and if you do that, you can get the Roar, but if Zhao 8's smoked up, or if they just aren't able to get the Hawk inside the Dire base, suddenly it gets very challenging.
Looks like there was a warding mission, but may have been scouted out here by Na'Vi. MMY backing off for the time being. Did buy a gem for Shao 8. So LGD putting a lot more emphasis on the vision game. The Roche won't be available for some time, but thinking forward towards the next Roche and to that pesky little bounty hunter.
Pesky little summon wolves, pesky little hawks. There's
a lot
so
of
many things that
actually.
force a gem out here, and the sooner the better in my mind. Is the second Zhao Wei had Force Staff, he at least has enough survivability with the Blink and Force. Like getting the gem is well justified. Na'Vi have taken map control. Like once you lose map control, you buy your gem. And that's going to be one of Zhao Wei's missions over the next stage of the game, is to try and deny some of that Na'Vi vision through de-warding and just taking out Hawks, taking out those pesky wolves as well.
Yeah, he will find a sentry ward in the bottom lane. Na'Vi taking down the tier 2 top, moving methodically from lane to lane, and now they've cracked all the outer towers. So the question becomes, do they look to breach the base? About a minute and change remaining on this Aegis, so if they want to go, it will need to be soon. But they are backing away. It seems they may not try with this particular.
Yeah, they're very close to double BKBs. Dendi has his, and Lycan is... Oh yeah, they both got them. So they've got double BKB. A minute on Aegis, it's kind of cutting it close, but if anything, the BKBs just allow them to fight and kind of take more control of the map, prevent LGD from even leaving their base. So I think Na'Vi with this, not going to just necessarily group up as 5 and go for like a brute force down your base approach, but will be looking to keep LGD in their own base, keep them away from any farm, and yeah, just don't allow them to get any ground on this map.
Yeah, that's where the Beastmaster will come in handy with the Hawk, the Wolves as well, the Scout. It's something we touched on at length as far as LGD-Gaming and how they could draft for success on the panel, and we're seeing it even more so perhaps here from Na'Vi with a lot of vision heroes. The Batrider, not quite as strong in terms of what vision he gives you directly, but with a gem and the ability to de-ward, he counters the enemy vision game, so it really is all about that jump.
Arcel has an Aghanim Scepter and 200 gold. Holy, this early in the game, having an Ag Witch Doctor is brutal. No one really has decent armor to negate the damage from this. Canceling this Death Ward becomes a top priority for LGD in any team fight.
Na'Vi aggressively moving forward into the LGD jungle. Looks like they want to find a pick, which could set up that high ground push with, as you mentioned, the double BKB. But it seems LGD figured it out. They back away. Maybe could lose the Ember Spirit of aggressive.
It's got a Remnant he just put up to the north in the trees, which...
This is going to be a tough kill. They really need the perfect roar. He's into the trees, he TPs away, and he'll make it out.
Yeah, nice escape from aggressive, and he needs to be active on the map, pressing out lane, so he's going to put himself in a position where he may get picked off, but ultimately that's something that's just essential for LGD at this stage of the game. That's one of the kind of key parts of them kind of turning things around, is not just sitting around idly in your base waiting for Na'Vi to come to you. You've got to keep and maintain your Ember Spirits farm, build towards some kind of item progression, and go from there.
Look at it go!
Oh boy, this has been one of probably best Witch Doctor performance we've seen this tournament, and
he is right there with Shao 8's Batrider. Now they do have something of a tower gold advantage, but, as well as the Roshan, but still very impressive stuff from Art Style. 2, 1, and 7.
Yeah. The kill score is just not really telling the full picture. LGD actually have an experience lead, funnily enough. That kind of speaks to Na'Vi spending more time grouped up, pushing down, taking objectives. They've got a very low-level bounty as well. Bounty just constantly kind of getting picked off and providing scouting information without actually getting much in the way of experience and levels. But he has the mech, he has the arcane boots. He's of great use to his team regardless of his level 9.
So we find ourselves, I think, in a place we thought we'd be, perhaps not the way we thought we would, but after a very chaotic early game, a lot of back and forth exchanges, overextensions, counterplays, punishments, the end result is that Na'Vi have taken the outer towers. They have somewhat backed LGD up on the map, LGD occasionally leaving the base, but in the defensive posture. Now the question becomes, LGD have a great high ground lineup. It was discussed on the analyst panel, and you've talked about it as well, Gods. How do they fully break into the base? What's the checklist for that? They may lose Sineko here.
Yep. Not having Sineko dead, that's maybe part of the checklist. But more importantly, securing next Roche. Wow, September mid, Death Ward. There we go. First use. So they use Raw and Death Ward, but Na'Vi, this is very much like the stage of the game where they know they're not going to be pushing high ground anytime soon, unless they somehow catch off aggressive by like some huge misplay of his and he doesn't have buyback, for example. But this is the stage of the game where Na'Vi are more or less just waiting for Roche to respawn. Grabbing an Aegis is going to be the most important thing to allow them to push high ground. They've got double Necro 3 book. They've got BKB on 2 of their cores. They've got the Aghanims on Witch Doctor. Item-wise, they've got everything you could hope for outside of an Aegis. So, the next 3-4 minutes, find what pickoffs you can, keep LGD under pressure, keep them away from farming, and then go for Roche, and then try and take fights and force the high ground.
So you're saying, do you think they can just like straight up like battering ram their way in? Do they need to find a pick? How do they go about breaking?
It's easier with a pick. It's whether LGD gives them that pick off. If it kind of depends on LGD's response to an Aegis on Na'Vi's side. Like when you look at what BGR did earlier in the previous series, they went on the aggressive to try and catch Na'Vi by surprise. But LGD generally takes the approach where they wait for you on their high ground and try use their just positional play to defend. And I think that's where Na'Vi may just be forced to like try and break the high ground using the Necro Books. It's not going to be easy because of the Battlefier and Ember Spirit. He can kind of fearlessly just throw out Sleights of Fists onto the Necros, which makes it a kind of slow chipping process from Na'Vi. But they basically need to test LGD. They're going to have to get the Aegis and then see what LGD's response is to a push involving an Aegis. Whether LGD come to them, then they take the fight, or if LGD sit way back, they've just got to start chipping away, working on that base.
Roshan is coming up pretty soon, about a minute and a half to go, so we'll see likely an attempt. But the game has really quieted down, much slower.
I don't think LGD dare try and stop Roche happening. The map vision is just too big of an issue. They've got one ward up kind of around the Roche area, but Radiant vision just
about to expire though. It's going to be gone before the
I
start.
mean, Radiant side have 0 wards, but they have way better map vision and just map control in general, just because of the summons.
Yeah,
the Hawk. I mean,
Hawk.
Hawks alone, but then you've got Wolves. It's incomparable to what LGD have.
Na'Vi keeping those lanes pushed in. They're going to hold top. DRA now grabbing a play mail, so it looks like AC's next. Just the very standard items to try and crack open LGD. Dendy working on a Hex here, it seems, with the Ultimate Orb now picked up.
Yeah, that's a good choice, having some catch for the Ember Spirit. Normally when we've seen these Embers and Pucks, they've thrived when there's no Hex, there's no Lions in the game, there's nothing to kind of lock them in place, and that's something Na'Vi, outside of the Roar, don't have against the Ember Spirit, so getting a Hex on Dendy will make their life a whole lot easier. But LGD, knowing that the Lycan TP top, and I maybe believe they caught wind of the fact that Dendy was in bottom lane, tried to get aggressive bottom, but Na'Vi, they disengage, they don't get caught on the retreat.
And just, I think you put it well when you said poking. It's poking not just from Na'Vi, but also from LGD.
Yeah.
Just sticking their head out a little bit. What's going on? We don't really like the way that looks. Let's go back to the base. Play it safe, wait for Roche. It's like take a clean fight, but if there's no clean fights, take none at all.
They're like waiting to have a shower and just like put in a little pinky finger to test the temperature of the water.
Too
like
hot. It's not cold. It's not quite right.
But really, like, I feel like the teams didn't even put in like enough of a limb to test the water temperature here. Like for Na'Vi more so. Like at some point they should be making LGD have a response to some aggression, and I think that time is going to come with this Aegis. Na'Vi,
5 heroes around the pit.
yeah, exactly. And LGD don't really have a good play to try and stop this going down. You can kind of see them just spread out, farming their side of the map. Most likely knowing full well that Na'Vi at any given time can be in that Roche pit and will be coming their way with an Aegis.
Aggressive was pushing out the top lane, leaving Manta illusions, and should be able to get the tier 2 tower, so has now officially become the most farmed hero in the game, and can only imagine that his lead will accelerate unless Na'Vi actually break the base or find a kill. So he pulls ahead, but it comes at the cost of Na'Vi's objectives. Could be the Roche that decides the game. It's a free Aegis. Now the question is, what do Na'Vi do with it? Close to a Hex on Dendy. Aside from that, any other big items that you see coming out?
The AC, I guess, on the Lycan. That's like to help negate the Sleight of Fist damage on the Necro Books, any bonus armor you can get. Drop the Necro Books, pop a Howl, attack the tower, and just and basically what's going to happen is Ember's going to try and Sleight of Fist, bring them down, like Death Puppet will walk up, weaken them with a Crypt Swarm, and then Sleight of Fist is there for the cleanup, but...
Aggressive going in deep here in the top lane. Really wanted a piece of that sweet Sonico, but he will go down. Not worth it whatsoever. Giving away the Ember's life, even if he gets the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah.
a big win for Na'Vi, and they force this buyback.
Yeah, they're
now
going to be
is the
looking
question.
around like which lanes are pushed out, where can we go? 60 seconds, and mid lane is very deep on the dire side of the map.
They are streaming that direction. General marching out mid. They won't have the necro book.
They've got one of the two, which is enough. Probably force a buyback if anything.
45 seconds to go. Checking out LGD. They do have a glyph available.
Now the scariest part about the high ground defense is actually the bat rider and how he can just pull heroes deep into the base. Even a hero with an Aegis, if you get pulled into tier 4 towers, you may just die twice.
Well, Na'Vi also have a secret weapon, and that is going to be Dendi's BKB Hex Aegis. He can go aggressive. He does, in fact. He interrupts that very lasso showing, able to get the force tag output on Zaya Ross. Pop his BKB. He'll tank right through it. Sip gets force tag, and Na'Vi turn back for the tower. Objective-based gaming. In their hometown, they take the tower. Do they get more? They have locked down Dendy, cracking the Aegis, and aggressive rejoins the fight. He has to buy back for this. If he goes down, could really get punished down Dendy. Unlike number 2, dropping pretty fast. The Ghost stacking up the Spirit Slave is there. Can they get the kill? They can! LGD hold the base for now. Queen of Pain down for 70. No buyback available. And now a glimpse. Art style next, trapped inside the kinetic field. He too will fall, and on to General. LGD looking to rout Na'Vi. They brought down 3. It was a big buyback. It cost them 2, including the Ember Spirit from earlier.
Yeah. What a great silence on the Aegis respawn. Dendy didn't have BKB, got silenced up, and could not escape the dire base. Like what I was talking about, the Bat Rider just forces this fight where Na'Vi get pulled in really deep into the dire base, and from there, Na'Vi are committed. They've got to just hold their ground and fight. Dendy goes down, and then at that point, Navi's like, okay, Dendy's trapped in the enemy base. We kind of want to keep our one of our main 2 carries alive, but there's no way to kind of save him without that good defensive support. And Na'Vi will also lose a tier 2 tower in the mid lane, so Ember's buyback easily paying off.
Yeah, now the question is, will they be able to punish him from here? Because he does not have a buyback available for 5.5 minutes, and should he die during that window, he will have a very long death timer. You're already looking at a level 21 Ember Spirit, so gods, it seems there will still be a window here where if Na'Vi can just catch out aggressive, they might be able to convert it into that lane of racks. Now exposed, the range rack's very low.
No glyph as well, so
But if they don't kill him, then it feels pretty good for LGD.
Yeah, this 3 minutes is very much the play as safe as possible stage for LGD. An aggressive death is probably just 2 lanes of racks, and really like 2 lanes of racks is effectively like close to the game over if you're in LGD's position. They wouldn't GG out because like when you've got the late game Ember Spirit, but it gives you like a 10% chance to win the game. As it stands right now, LGD behind, but by very little.
And you can see the graphs reflected. In fact, after that last exchange, LGD, they got some towers, and they knocked Na'Vi down to just a 2-tower advantage. Had quite a bit more before that. And one of those being a tier 3, and experience, not that it matters so much at this point, but is starting to tip even further their way.
Well, wasting no time, they go for another push down this mid lane. They may not have Aegis, but it's LGD who do not have buyback on Ember Spirit, so he buys a Crystallis. He needs to buy anything again. I wouldn't mind seeing him pick up like a Blink Dagger here. If he sees the push coming, he may just do that.
You've got to imagine Dendy is just sitting here like, where's the Ember?
Yes.
Where's the Ember? Aggressive? I see you, and I want a piece of you.
He's staying right back. He may as well spend his money if he can buy something. Daedalus one possibility, Blink the other as mentioned, but doesn't have the money quite yet for a Daedalus.
So they hang on to their Necro books. The AC has been online for the Lycanthrope of De'Ara.
And Pink's top. Ember could actually TP top and then Remnant back. It could force Na'Vi back, and it's actually going to be Na'Vi who TP top. That gets spotted, so LGD would like to try and hunt someone on the retreat, but Na'Vi have already backed off in preparation for Dendy's escape.
Now Roshan checking the respawn timer. 5 minutes until he respawns. So it's going to be enough time for the buyback to cool down. Oh, have another life for aggressive, and LGD aren't going to wait for it. They smoke, and they head right now. They know Dendy's unlikely to be here. Arc style, getting jumped. As they do get the roll off, it's on to Shaway. Pulls Arc style up onto the high ground. He drops the net door. He's alive there now. Aggressive's going to finish him off. Will do so, but Dendy hunts forward, chasing on the baby, trying to bring him down. De'Ara's there in pursuit as well now. Turning on aggressive. The Hex already committed. Aggressive able to Manta back away. That prompts a buyback. Enchantress rejoining the fight. The teams will engage. It ends up being, or disengage I should say, a 3-for-1. Still no buyback here for 3 minutes on Ember.
Bit of a some duration left on these Necro books, so without a glyph, at least the rain tracks can go down if Na'Vi want. Just put the summons on the rain tracks, get yourself a bit of money and walk away.
And they have the Hex again, gotta be careful. No lasso.
Oh, well, enchant, she kicks in, takes one of the Necro books, and it looks like LGD won't actually lose a single Rax off of this.
I guess with the roar down, they're not gonna be able to kill aggressive. And he's playing like he can't die. Oh, just hold that thought, because they have jumped him. Here's the Hex, no roar. And he might actually turn this one around. Sleight of fist, chipping away at Gem real quickly.
Good low ground force staff coming out from Zhao Wei.
Yeah, and you can see from the way aggressive was playing, he just did the math in his head. He's like, yeah, they can't kill me without a roar. Very confident shopping trip there from him.
I really like what I assume is going to be a Lotus Orb from Zhao Wei. This is a game where vision is so key, and denying the track. When you if you're defending your high ground, you do not want to have heroes tracked up. It makes it much easier for Na'Vi to position and just initiate as well if you're tracked up. So having a Lotus Orb just to dispel that track can become very, very important.
Zhao Wei it is again dewarding. They've held onto this gem for a really long time, LGD have, and now if they need to, they could even buy another, which just goes to show how effective a purchase it's been. It's really paid off and kept them in the game. Still fencing about the Roshan pit. Na'Vi unable to break LGD's spirits in the high ground just yet, but this roar could be the opening step. He already bought back one. This could be a tieback. He pops the heal, the greetings as well, the Deathward committed. Almost enough to get the kill, but the force staff saves his life. And he will survive.
That's a Deathward too.
That's a big commitment, but that's a Dayara potentially in trouble now. Dendy looking for the opening. Maybe he can go on aggressive here if he's not careful. He jumps on the maybe, but the Death Prophet already going. Goes the Yules out. Dayara fairly low. BKB gonna enter. From the Eternus. Damage from aggressive, just chewing into Na'Vi, driving them back. The impulse brings up Dendy 10 HP. DP's out for the high ground, will survive, but 3 Na'Vi heroes have fallen.
Survives 2 somehow in about 50 HP.
Oh my.
They just clumped up for aggressive.
Got the crits, got the cleave at the right time, and the damage was spectacular.
3.7k damage, and that was just like one sleight of fist. Okay, 2 sleights of fist, and he gets 3.7k damage.
And now there is a Lotus Orb. Could also be a really good way to deal with this Hex. Speaking of
absolutely.
This is being used right now on aggressive.
Keep aggressive alive at all costs. He can actually go in the front lines a bit more when he's got the backup of the Lotus Orb. We've seen what the Force Staffs can do as well. They've got 2 of them with Disruptor also carrying one, and as they move forward, we see Sep also kind of transitioning into like a semi-core with the Enchantress, having a Dragon Lance, likely the Aghanim Scepter follow up, about at level 16, so it's not going to be all in on aggressive. There is good cleanup potential coming in from Enchantress.
Yeah, and you know, the other really big thing about that fight, Gods, is not just that LGD prevail in the actual engagement, but they got into the Radiant Jungle, they were able to plant down an Observer Ward. They also confirmed that Na'Vi don't really have vision there, so they can be a lot more confident in moving out, and we see that right now.
I believe Na'Vi lost, they lost their gem as well, so both gems on the Dire side as
It's back on the Dire Courier.
Okay, on the Dire Courier, so makes life a little bit easier for LG to have a backup gem for one thing, but more than anything, Na'Vi not going to have any wards up. They're going to have to rely on these summons to keep scouting out. This has just been impressive to how LGD have played with complete lack of map vision, and just generally trying to counterplay Na'Vi's complete control of everything. They've been on the Dire side of the map the entire game.
Oh, Seth, this still could be a dieback. He's down for 3 minutes as far as the timer on the buyback goes, and this time the Death Ward very close. It is enough there. Gets him with the Maledict.
For like a split second, I thought it was actually going to live.
Yes, so that's 70 seconds on the sideline for your support Enchantress. Roshan coming up during that window. The Sineko goes deep. They want to turn this one. MMY dropping the sentry. Oh, looking for the vision. Zhao Wei leaping forward. You can just see how hungry LGD are, like a pack of piranhas. Constantly, the second hero slightly out of position, jumping and diving for those kills, but not going to find them.
Rune of illusion.
So they back off, they'll reset. Roshan will be the fulcrum of the next engagement, and the big boy is back.
Now we have to be a little bit concerned. Kind of what we saw last game is Lycan as a hero does start to fall off. It's around this stage of the game. You're 42 minutes in. You haven't taken a full lane of Rax. You've got just the rain tracks at mid, which ultimately is like maybe a quarter of a Rax as far as like the full mid lane goes, and that's just not going to cut it if you can't get something bigger with the next Roshan, I think Na'Vi, their lineup will start to fall off. The Death Prophet will get tanky enough to survive to get some good exorcism damage. Ember Spirit, when he hits that, hits the Skadi timing, is going to be a complete beast in these team fights. He doesn't even have to entirely rely on Sleight of Fist. He can actually go in and fight in much more aggressive manner as well. So Na'Vi's life only going to get more and more difficult as we move forward.
I wonder how desperate they feel it is. Boots of Travel coming out with Ditya Ra now, so items do continue to slowly accrue here.
That's just like this top lane is always like split pushing out, so having the Boots of Travel allow Na'Vi, it's some pick-off potential, but more than anything it means they can push out the lanes with one hero and have him join up with the team when you're on the other side of the map. Something that's always important to do on the Radiant side when you're worried about your opponents, taking Roche for example.
It's just such discipline here from LGD. Oh, that thought. Na'Vi smoking. Moving down into the river, they just got dewarded. LGD, but they sent their whole team to do it. September, the one in front, and they are going to engage here. Going in, aggressive Sleight of Fist, quickly bringing General low, already committed the roar, and now the Death Ward starts to bouncing. It's a full duration Death Ward. LGD getting forced back. Shallow's going to drop. That's 2. It's 3. Aggressione's down, and they want more. They want more. My God, they're going to get him. 4 heroes hit the deck. Na'Vi grab the gem, the bounty, the momentum, and straight into the pit. It appears they will go. Just like that.
Every now and then, you just say, okay, we've been slow rolling this for too long. Let's take the initiative. Let's go. And this is the exact time to do it. Talked about the Lycan as a hero who's going to start kind of tapering off. Na'Vi recognizing it themselves. They smoke up, get a great jump, take the Ember Spirit out, most importantly, and he even brought back, so very precarious position now for LGD. They've got to defend their high ground with very limited buybacks and very limited tools to defend against an Aegis and Cheese on the Ditcher out Lycan as well as the Dendi Queen of Pain.
You've got the Hex, you have the Roar cooling down very soon, and I believe a Refresher coming out. They have 3 tools here to lock down that Ember, and should they kill Aggressive, unless they lose several in the process, gods, that could be the game right there. So they got through that first window where there was no buyback. He really had to scratch and claw to get his way out of the situation. Now he finds himself right back in the abyss. 6 minutes where you have to play the game on a knife's edge.
And LGD, like, they actually used their spells as best they could that fight. They got the Lotus off on the Ember Spirit as soon as he got Hex. He managed to get multiple Sleights of Fist off, but his team were just swarmed upon it. Aggressive alone, he needs that kind of frontlining Batrider to get a catch with the lasso. He needs the Death Prophet to tank up a lot of damage, and maybe just a little bit too squishy at this stage of the game. Really just needs that one extra item, it feels like, before he can kind of hold his ground against the damage output of the Witch Doctor ultimate, the Queen of Pain. There's just so much burst on the side of Na'Vi. Anyone getting roared, more often than not, is going down.
You mentioned damage and how he's squishy, and I just have to say, art style has been magnificent with the Death Wards this game. That is not the first time we have seen a full duration Death Ward crushing a core hero.
Like a core Witch Doctor. Like if someone told me this Witch Doctor had been like the mid hero, I'd be like, yeah, sure, it feels believable with the impact he's had.
He is 5th in net worth, and he's very close to being, 6th in net worth, very close to being 5th. Just behind his own Beastmaster and ahead of Shao Wade on the Batrider. And it's not like, oh, he's got a lot of net worth. He's using it incredibly well.
It's so much of that goes back to Dichira's rotation off of the lane. He goes in the jungle very early on in like 5-6 minutes into the game, giving Artstar the lane. He gets some farm, some levels, and he gives back to his team. He helps out, becomes a core himself, and LGD now have a tough ask ahead of themselves to try and defend this bottom lane.
Well, the good news for Na'Vi is strategically taking a lane of Rax gets easier now. The mid lane's always pushing, creeps will be up the hill. You have better vision into the base. The Hawk's able to sneak around the tree line, something they can't really do so easily mid. And LGD do have a gem here on Shao, but they got to sit back at the engagement because Silence in general preventing any sort of role play. He didn't even get to use it, the first one, let alone the second. At Aggressive surges forward, but that's going to be it. The quick draw there from them White. Oh, they are chasing for a bit more. They get the courier, a single ward on it. Arcside out this back. There's the Hex. Onto Aggressive. Gotta be careful. Bravo gets popped. Another side of this too. Trying to hold on for now. Jumps back. Lotus almost deployed. And it's maybe in the front lines. Chewing through Arcside. The Howard one is down. Can they get more? That's the question. Sneko trying to escape through the trees. Won't happen. LGD take down 3, but mid lane is pushing. They may need to send aggressive.
LGD's lineup is so punishing of mistakes. That's the biggest thing to kind of take away from that for Na'Vi. One misplay, and you get chased down. The Batrider with his mobility, the Blink 4 stuff, Ember Spirit will chase you down. You can never give LGD an inch in a team fight. And General, biggest play there that stopped the Roar. It was the initial Searing Chains actually. He got the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains on General as he blinked in, cancelling the Roar animation, and then the Disruptor follows it up with the Silence after the lasso, and General taken out of the start of the fight. He is the kind of crucial glue that keeps this Na'Vi squad together when they're pushing. It's the threat of the Roar that has to be there to deal with the Ember Spirit. And if he's dead, Ember just goes balls deep, attacks Na'Vi, and there's nothing Na'Vi can do to deal with him.
And that was a fight where Lycan was directly next to him at one point. So if it happens again, Vincere will have an Abyssal Blade. Ooh. And Ember did go Scotty. It was not a Lincoln Sphere. So another spell to lock him down.
I mean, it's tankiness, it's armor, so the stats from this function kind of similarly to the Lincoln Sphere as far as like giving him a good amount of survivability, and he's relying on his team with the 4 staffs and the Lotus Orb. Second fight in a row, we've seen Zhao Wei very quick with the Lotus Orb to dispel off the Dendi Hex, and that's going to be something Na'Vi take into consideration. They're going to be looking at this like, okay, twice the Hex has been counterplayed, someone needs to perhaps control Zhao Wei or force his Lotus Orb out before we actually go in the Ember Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, really tough to get the Batrider when he sits so far back over the tree line. The Hawk's been constantly dealt with the gem.
It's the Bat that's actually the hardest hero to push against, more so than the Ember Spirit. It's not, you're not so worried about your creep wave dying. Your heroes can push fine alone. It's you're worried about that hero getting dragged deep into the LGD base away from the rest of the team. That's the scariest thing for Na'Vi when they go for a push.
Aegis has been reclaimed now. So Vincere checking out buybacks. For the side of Na'Vi, they don't have many, just a Queen of Pain buyback. Do they try to push in? There are 4 for LGD, and Embers is coming up. This is going to be a long window, heading towards the next Roshan, where the extra life advantage is firmly on the side of LGD.
I imagine Na'Vi, with the TP chop from aggressive, will be forced to at least kind of get back to work on just maintaining the creep equilibrium, get some map control going once more, but they're also going to be recognizing that Vincere, as Lycan, again, this hero, you don't want to rely on him in a 60-plus minute game, so they want to try and take a second lane of racks as soon as possible.
They are going to force it. Low on buybacks here. Na'Vi are committing a lot. Lycan pretty close as far as the gold goes. The rest of the heroes not particularly likely to get that gold unless a lot of LGD heroes hit the deck. And they have second thoughts for now. The top lane continues to push.
Radiant's top tower
Aggressive.
is under attack.
Just waiting for those boots to travel to cool down so he can probably continue the slow chipping top lane.
He may go back top. Does have one. Oh, yeah, it's got Remnant at the fountain, so
Radiant's top tower
very limited. Doesn't have any follow-up remnants.
And for now, sticking around. And Na'Vi are going to move forward again. Track on the Sep.
Stolen Hawk. That's actually very, well, was handy until it got chopped down by General.
Handy for like 3 seconds.
Figure out what Navi's doing, but LGD Vision limited to 1 ward in their own jungle, which isn't really giving them anything at this moment. We're not seeing Ember go top lane, but I feel that's largely because he's limited on remnants. He wants to make sure he always has a defensive remnant for the team fight back around his fountain area, so if he TP's top, he has to commit a remnant to get back, and then he's going to use another remnant perhaps to pop in the fountain, and he's going to be somewhat limited in his mobility and just how many kind of live, quote-unquote lives he gets in a team fight to go in, remnant away, then go in again, have another remnant out. So he's just playing this very conservatively.
It really feels like there's a strong sense of history here as we look at Na'Vi versus LGD. This was an iconic matchup at the International 2 with LGD undefeated throughout the entire group stage and into all the way into the winner bracket finals until they ended up dropping a match to Na'Vi and then eventually getting eliminated in the lower bracket.
And that was another Zhao Wei-led LGD squad, and a squad known for its discipline, its patience,
and also for its high ground defense, which is precisely the position we find ourselves in now as we hit.
They were the late game
minutes.
kings. It took an aggressive Na'Vi squad and then an IG squad to take them down a notch, but they were the late game kings back then. Zhao Wei looking to do that once more against Na'Vi, although actually, well, he got beaten by Na'Vi back then. He's looking for some revenge, perhaps.
Can Na'Vi reclaim that former glory? That is really the long question
Well, it's funny, there was initially this narrative of like, are we going to get this Na'Vi versus Alliance? Is it a return of El Clasico here at Starladder? Then it didn't happen. Then it became, oh, it's not 2013, it's 2012 with Na'Vi versus China. Na'Vi's hoping it's 2011 with Artstyle carrying the team to victory in TI1, you know. It's a matter of how far back are we going to go in this little time machine, LD?
Well, which dynasty prevails? We've got a lot of time to mull it over. Because Na'Vi, they don't want to meet history just yet. They want that next Roshan. Still a long ways off. It is a maximum respawn timer, 11 minutes in total. But it will be potentially a decisive one. And it is worth mentioning, guys, as the game has slowed, some of the recent item pickups here. We've got a Blink Dagger on the Lycan, perhaps more importantly, a refresher on Dendi. So, well, you've got a Lotus Orb, sure, on Xiaowei, but there is now a Blink Abyssal, a double Hex, as well as a double Roar. That is 5 spells that you're looking to cancel and potentially save a hero with. Not going to be easy.
It could be becoming reminiscent of that opening game between LGD and Vega, where the number of lives Aggressive can have in a team fight can decide the outcome. If he has an Aegis, has 2 lives, it's huge. If he has a buyback, that's going to be essential. If he has only 1 life in a team fight, it could be very problematic. And there we go. You talk about item pickups here in the late game. Everybody's favorite, an Ember with a Divine Rapier.
You know, one thing has changed since TI2, and that is the number of Divine Rapiers we see. Not so much in this patch because not too many games have gone late, but there's been a real shift with players' willingness to pick this item up, and I think a lot of it is just due to the proliferation of Ember Spirit picks more than anything. It used to be Gyrocopter, but the heroes that can really take advantage of the Rapier.
Smoke up too.
Here we go. Soneko out in front, he's going to reveal the smoke, and Xiaowei makes his move, he goes to the last one, he does get hexed, then Rowan as well. That means Lotus Sword on the picture, can they focus down? The cores through this fight, on the back ledge is aggressive, he's in a pistol, the Roar going up, they located the Ember, Rapier down! Na'Vi have slain the Fire Spirit, maybe could be next. He's also going to fall with the Ember buyback. Aggressive marches out to the pit, but it may be too late.
Do they know about the Rapier? I don't know if they
The sword and the stones, Na'Vi don't care about it, I guess. Yeah, he didn't really get to hit much in that fight.
No, not at all. They initiated on Xiaowei. Xiaowei had to use the Lotus Orb, and all the Force Staffs got thrown on Xiaowei to save his life. Batrider somehow didn't die through it all, but the end result was there was nothing to protect the Ember Spirit of Aggressive, and that just led to utter disaster. If we could only find this Rapier.
They hit pretty hard. Did you see that Ember drop? You'd like to have the Rapier, but they're not lacking by any stretch for physical damage.
If somehow LGD piece together, like they get vision of all the heroes, see that no one's holding the Rapier, they may figure out that it's still on the ground, but so far no vision caught of it. Na'Vi likely to retreat over it though, so they may catch wind of the fact that it's there.
It's still there. The crowd just noticed.
Oh yeah.
Na'Vi haven't, but
Na'Vi, don't take our energy, take our insight. Read our minds.
It's about to find it. It's gonna be the man, the myth, the legend.
Someone?
Getting hotter. Getting hotter. What's that? It's a Rapier.
Sandy, drop your treads. Who's getting it?
I honestly don't think Lycan needs any more damage, but
They're gonna leave it there.
by golly, he's got it.
No boots to travel for DHRI. He wants the Rapier.
Well, found it, and I think far more importantly, there is no buyback on Aggressive.
Yes. He insta-buys back in that last fight. Didn't have a Remnant down as well. I think it was a lost fight regardless, and LGD are going to have their high ground prowess truly tested now against the Na'Vi squad, who has all the tools ready to break through the LGD defense. All of a sudden, what's been an even game pretty much up until now is a 20k network disadvantage because of that Rapier swing more than anything. That's just like, a Rapier swing is like a, what, 12k gold swing in itself? So,
yeah, roughly about, and it basically tripled their advantage, which was essentially nothing for this stage of the game, but it's now fairly significant. This Rapier could change hands more than once though, but in order to steal it, they gotta kill the wolf twice.
yeah.
He is running into slot problems now though. You can see a Necro Book, a Blink Dagger in the stash.
That Blink Dagger is one of the probably most, it's the most cost-effective item he had in his inventory up until this point, but ultimately he's deciding he wants to have those big late game items over it. Likely can replace the Aegis with it once that gets consumed, but having that bit of mobility to get the jump on someone like the Death Prophet or the Ember Spirit makes a big, big difference.
You know, I almost wonder if having the blink is better than boots. That blink abyssal play, we saw like an abyssal into a roar. You can't count on running into Ember. He's going to be sitting back, so perhaps that initiation range is something he'll rethink. But for now, Na'Vi smoking, moving towards the bottom lane. 58 minutes in, they have struggled mightily to fully break through the LGD defense. The one slip up from the young gun aggressive, and that could be all she wrote as Diarra starts moving in. One swipe, the tower's down, and now Diarra morphing, coming in hot and heavy on the Navy. Up into the air he goes. Sep will be the victim. Now the Ghost Scepter, or rather the Ethereal Blade, Navy backing off. Ember's back to the well, but Brax are melting. Na'Vi chewing through them. Xiaowei with the blink forward, but Diarra turns, and in a matter of seconds he turns down. Aggressive next, hexed up, no escape. Looks like he's down as well. That's gonna be every core hero deleted, and with that, Na'Vi take game one. The magic is back.
LGD, they held on for a long, long time, but ultimately Na'Vi, the ones in the driver's seat, the one with the map control, the vision from all the different summons, the wolves, the hawk, they prevail. Complete, utter Roche control and aggressive, he couldn't do it all. Na'Vi take game one, LD.
That Lycan took about 4 seconds to kill their entire team, all the buildings, a tense back and forth game, late game Dota.